Yes, so we're gonna start this all by allowing our guest to introduce himself. But then before we go there, my name is Jeremiah Thoronka, and I'm a graduate scholar. And the table is turned to you, Honorable Sir.
Which one of the honorables? Is it me?
Yeah, our guest.
Oh, thank you very much, Jeremiah. Hello, everyone. Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, good day, wherever you're tuning in from. My name is Alpha Habib Bangura. I am from Sierra Leone, Africa, and the world at large. I'm joining you here today as a panelist to talk about mentorship, different aspect of mentorship, what it takes to be a good mentor, and how you can be a good mentee, how you can actually be a mentor, be a mentee to someone, and also how you can build a good relationship with people in the professional space through mentorship so that you can improve your prospects of developing your career path and your career journey as a whole. So basically, about me, I'm fun, I'm interesting. Some people call me a motivational speaker, but I just love talking. I'm currently working in the mayor's office in Freetown, Sierra Leone, as a project lead on education. So we're running a school leader support program wherein we provide mentorship to school leaders in 550 schools in the city of Freetown, so that we can promote learning outcomes, education leadership, and WASH facilities in the city of Freetown. So basically, that's the scope of my role. And I'm happy to be here with you today so that I can share some of my experiences with you and add to the knowledge that you already have as you continue to improve yourself. Thank you.
Amazing profile. That's super amazing. Thank you for joining us today. We really look forward to learning from you, as we believe you do have a lot of things. We do have a lot of things to learn from you, considering the track record you've demonstrated over the years within that particular space. So, Mr. Alpha Habib Bangura, we're going to start this all from where it all started. Yeah. So, some of our attendees ask a question on how best can we go about in finding a mentor. So considering you've been a mentee and you've been a mentor, we're going to start from the point where you made the decision that you want to be mentored by someone. So can you please briefly tell us, like, how did you go about that? Like, you trying to like identify the person or the persons you think that are ideal for you to be, for them to be mentored to you, and as well as can you also briefly elaborate like how intentional were you and what were some key goals or milestones as you were going about that process? What were the milestones that you set for yourself before you approach someone, or how did you go about the whole process?
Okay, a lot of questions to unpack. I am still a mentee to a couple of people, and I do have role models that I admire, and I try to copy the best from their lives that I think I could leverage and build my own brand. And I am a mentor to a couple of people as well. So basically, I would say I've had a couple of mentors, but to my knowledge, the first time I reached out to someone to be my mentor was in 2008, 2009. Yeah. I was in this leadership program called Camp Vizao. It was organized by the Vizao Foundation in Sierra Leone. And I went through it from 2007, 2008. And it really impacted me the way I saw life and the way I interacted with people. So I came across people from different parts of the world, and it opened my mind. So there was this man who taught us leadership and integrity. So having spent 9 years in 10 to 11 years in school, right, from primary to junior high school, I had never been taught a subject or a topic like that, leadership and integrity. So like it really sparked the curiosity in me. And after the whole program, 2 weeks, I reached out to him. His name is Dr. Modupe Taylor Pierce. Jeremiah knows him very well. I reached out to Dr. Taylor Pierce. That was in 2008. Yes. I said, Dr. Taylor Pierce, I really admired how you taught us leadership and integrity. I want to be close to you. I did not ask him directly, I want you to mentor me, because my mindset was not that clear at that time thinking about mentorship. So I just said to him, I really want to get close to you so that I can learn from you, because I really love when you teach us in this program. And he said, okay, I can be your mentor. That was the first time I really came across the word mentor. And then I started, going out to say, okay, what does a mentor do and all of that. So that was where my journey started with Dr. Taylor Pierce. And he was not meeting with me all of the time, but from time to time, he would call me, advise me, ask on my performance. I bring my school report cards and all of that. So I would say right from the very beginning, I had intentionality. Yeah, so, but my journey, that was me being a mentee, reaching out for somebody to mentor me. And my journey as a mentor started with the same organization.
We'll come to that.
Okay.
We'll come to that.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
I'm looking up to you to navigate the conversation. Sorry.
Yeah, no problem. So one thing you said that was really catchy was the method of approach that you used. Yeah.
Yeah.
So for those of us who may be searching for mentors, what tip can you give us? What is the best way to approach a person that you think is ideal to mentor you? Is it like we can use social media? Is it like we have to write letters, emails? What effective means do you think we can use? We know it's not a formula. It can differ from case by case, on a case by case basis. But then, is there any effective means that you think you've used, considering the tons of mentors that you have out there, and that we can learn from you?
You've provided part of the answer to the question. There's no specific formula to finding a mentor, and there are different approaches that you can use. If we were still in the early 2000s, I would say start writing letters from today, like on paper, put it in an envelope and post it to somebody you identify. But social media is a great tool that we can leverage now to actually communicate with people professionally and socially. And we can leverage LinkedIn, which is a professional social media platform wherein you can create a profile and actually start networking and engaging with people. So basically some tips that I can share with you, I would say the first thing is to discover yourself. Discover yourself. Discovering yourself means you have to know who you are. So there are questions that one of my role models, the late Dr. Miles Monroe, he says, he often said they are the human questions that we almost should grapple with and try to understand. So who am I? Why am I here? Where am I going? What can I do? And where am I from? So these 5 questions are very key in the area of discovering ourselves. And added to these 5 questions to discover yourself, you have to do a personal SWOT analysis of your life, of your individual self. The SWOT, SWOT, strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. So what are your strengths as a person? What are your weaknesses, the things that you're very weak in? And what are the opportunities that are available around you so that you can be able to leverage them and overcome your weaknesses and improve on your strengths? And what are the threats that are in your area, in your circle, that you have to avoid so that when you avoid them, you do not get in contact with them and they would not have a negative ripple effect on your weaknesses to make them worse and on your strengths to diminish them. Yeah, so when you understand yourself, the next approach is, where do you want to go? Like, which career path do you see yourself, or which specific goal you want to achieve in this week, in this month, in this year? Where do you want to go? When you have identified all of those key areas which form the part of your identity, that's when you start setting out to say, let me look for a mentor. And to look for a mentor, there's no one size fits all. One person cannot be a mentor to you for everything. But instead, you can say, let's say, for example, in terms of managing my time, if I'm having time management issues and I see somebody whom I've interacted with, that person has never been late before, that person always does things to time. You know, if they say, I'm going to call you at 8, they call you at 7:59 to 8, you know. So those kind of people, you find people based on what you need and what you want to actually improve on what you already have, or to start developing what you don't have, but you think you need and you know you need. So you start finding them. And yeah, just to add, you can use different approaches. So some of us attend conferences. Some of us go to church. We go to mosque. And these are our different areas of convergence. There are people there with different portfolio, with different experiences that you can actually reach out to. If they are not in place to help, you can ask them, do you know anybody who can help me in this area so that I can grow? That's one. You can reach out on LinkedIn. The area that you want to improve on, start searching to look for people. And LinkedIn, people can help you on LinkedIn with or without any social or personal relationship with them. Yeah.
That's really strong. Utilizing on social media for you to connect with the people you think that can impact like your growth is very much useful. Like those are tools that we can leverage on. But then a question that a very personal question that most of us want to know is, how have you been able to handle like your expectations? Yeah, when you're being mentored by someone, there are times when we'll get in contact with like a very high profile personality, but then at the end of the day, due to like the different commitment they have, they may really be struggling with communications, you know, replying to our emails, or even like honoring at times like the appointments that we've scheduled with them. So how have you been able to handle like the expectation in cases where they've not been met? You wanted to build like your time management skill, but then the mentor is not even demonstrating enough that they can even manage their time very well. In other cases, they can, but then when it comes to you, like your expectations have really been let low. So have you been able to like communicate that to the mentor, or have you been able to handle those situations, if any has arisen in your journey?
Okay, so I would say there's a thin line between expectation and reality. So we all might have like overwhelming expectations, what we want, you know, and then when we're dealing with people, especially people who have their own schedules, we want them to actually come into our own schedules to do things. And life doesn't work like that. Yeah. You know, life doesn't work like that at all. So I would say how I have been actually dealing with that, because I have people in my network who are government ministers in and out of Sierra Leone. I have people who are high-ranking military officers in and out of Sierra Leone who are my mentors. And some of these people are like, I even get to talk to them once a month or once in every 3 months. I'll send them messages, they read it, they read those messages, they don't even respond because their work is so overwhelming. It would take like 2 months before they even respond, you know. But I would say developing humility and patience, like these two traits are key to you getting into the right character and habit of working with people that are your mentors. And also communicating your state of mind in a professional and respectful way, not in a rude and harsh, or how should I put it? Not in a fussy or bossy way. So let's say, for instance, I had a mentor who was a former Minister of Foreign Affairs in Sierra Leone. And most of the time when I reached out to her, she would not respond. So what I did, because of her busy schedule, I decided to say, okay, what I can do, this person is already in my network, is in my circle as somebody who's not only a mentor, but a role model. So instead of shying away to say, let me drop out of the relationship with her, let me continue improving myself so that I will always be amazing her. So when she looks at my progress and my journey, she would always be amazed, you know. So even at the time when we meet in person, even if it's a 5-minute conversation, I would be able to learn from her in that 5-minute conversation. So one, your approach to dealing with these people, these mentors, when they are very busy, you have to be patient and you have to be humble and communicate with them. Don't be badging with messages. Every morning you send this message, send a message 3 times a day. No. You can time yourself. Maybe if you send a message this week, work on your communication skills. Don't go and be sending messages, your subject-verb agreement is not even in line, and then they see this person is not as intelligent as he or she poses to be, and what's not. So work on yourself every day on a personal level, and then communicate with these people upfront to say, hello, sir, I'm trying to check on you. How have you been? How's work? How's everything? With regards to my proposal of you being a mentor to me, I see you're busy most of the time. Do you have anybody in mind that I can actually liaise with that can help me in this area, so that by the time you have time for me, I would have grown and you would have appreciated my growth so far? Those are kind of questions you'll be asking those people. And that's how I've been working with a lot of mentors. And I don't cut off mentors. There is time for every purpose. So somebody who is busy right now, there's a time when they see my growth, they would make time for me. They'll say, oh, I am so proud of you. Do you have a moment? Let's talk. You know, so like there's time for every purpose. Don't cut off any relationship that you know it's actually professional and has a potential to get to somewhere to that will take you up the ladder.
Something very strong that you said is we should work on ourselves on a daily basis. So when our mentors, be it like when they are going through their social media or they are going through some articles, they see like, oh, this person has really improved, they'll make time for you. So as Alpha, how do you go about measuring like the impact of a mentor on your personal life and as well as your career, depending on what the relationship was established for?
Well, for me, often I have two categories. I have role models, mm-hmm, and I have mentors. Oftentimes, people make that mistake. They just admire somebody. They have maybe once or twice conversation with them, and then they start calling that person a mentor. A mentor is somebody who actually helps you grow, and a mentor has to communicate with you. It could be in-person communication. It could be virtual communication. So in these two categories, there are people I talk to them once in a while. It could be just an emergency. I reach out to them. Hey, I'm struggling with this. What do you think? Do you have time to give me a critique on this? You know, so these some of these people I class as my role model. I do communicate with some, and some of them are from a distance. I don't have any direct contact with them, but I look at their lives and I see what is good and what is positive for me to take out of their own leadership and personal journey. And then I start to adopt that in my own way using my own model. So for the ones that I have direct contact with, some are my teachers, some are my friends, they are peer mentors, we're the same age. Even Jeremiah Thoronka here is a peer mentor to me. We've been friends, we've been brothers for a very long time. And there are so many instances where I've gone wrong. He would put me down and advise me, you don't do this, you don't do that. That's not the right approach to use. So like we do peer mentor ourselves. And so in managing these relationships, I think you have to uphold respect in the conversations with those people. And in terms of measuring the impact of these mentors in your life, does not only depend on the number of time the mentors actually spend with you, but it solely depends on the amount of effort you yourself put into what they're advising you to, they are guiding you with, for you to take a decision. Because most of the mentors that I have, they don't actually tell me what to do. They proffer different alternatives and they give me the opportunity to take a decision, to make a decision out of the different ideas and suggestions that they have made to me. So when I'm experiencing the consequences, it's not the consequences of the decision they took for me, but it's the consequences of my own decision and my own actions. So I would measure the impact of a mentor in my life based on how I have worked on the advices that they gave me and the success that I've seen out of my own effort and sheer hard work and smart work in relation to their own support towards my journey. That is how I measure.
Exactly, that's super amazing. And something that gave me a moment to recollect something that's happened. I do have this mentor of mine who is a high level personality in the US government, you know. So when I met him, he gave me like his card. So I connected with him via his official US government email. We started a conversation and it was becoming so much that he replied. Then at some point, he was like, Jeremiah, I'll advise you. We start communicating through my personal email since this is like a government thing. I don't want people to feel like start suspecting any other thing. So like the open-mindedness is something very much vital and important again when going with your expectation and how you're going to measure your impact, considering the fact that there are times when the decision that a mentor will make, like the way they want the conversation to flow, it may not be too well with you, but then it's something that you're going to learn. So in a case where I start mentoring a particular person and maybe they start flooding my WhatsApp with messages, I may say, okay, I don't feel comfortable always contacting me via my WhatsApp. Can we keep this on email or can we keep this via LinkedIn? So you see, like those tiny things can contribute really to like your personal growth, but then you may not see them instantly. Yeah. So now you're going to tell us like a bit of how you go about like mentoring other people. Yeah. There are times when people come and say, okay, Alpha, this is what I want to learn from you. And then you too know it's something like you're really struggling with. Yeah, you tell them, okay, I'm not the best person to do this for you, but then I can connect this with you. But then due to the fact that somebody has seen you as a person that they really want to learn from, regardless of what you say, at times it's very difficult to handle. They'll be like, oh, Alpha, help me with time management. And you know it's something that you can't help with. You will explain to them, they'll be like, oh, I don't mind. I just want to walk this journey with you. So have you been able to like handle those situations where you know you can't offer something, but then somebody just want to be around you to learn something that you know you can't offer?
Yeah, I've been in those situations. So basically, when people reach out to me for mentorship, it gets very hectic most of the time, especially in the last 5 years when I was going through my own struggles with academics and social life and all of that, my leadership journey as well. So it's not all the time that I communicate with my mentees, but I try to build that respectful environment wherein I let them know when I will be available and when I will not be available. And sometimes some issues that they would come up with, maybe some venture that they want to undertake, or a position they want to apply for, or something they want to explore, they want to take an adventure. I try not to put myself in those cases as in the center of everything, but I try to put the mentees at the center of their own journey and be there just as a guiding light. So in cases where I am not able to respond to a particular need or particular want or particular development pathway of that mentee, I keep on asking them questions and questions until they actually start thinking critically on how they can find a possible alternative to addressing that particular problem. And there are some instances where I've gone to an extent of recommending other people to some of my mentees to say, this particular issue, I'm overwhelmed right now. I'll not be in a good frame of mind to support with this. Can you reach out to this person? So others that I have actually mentored, worked with, who are my peers, and some who I am way older than by age, but I know are capable of doing that. So I make referrals. Yeah, but that also has to do with the way the mentor and the mentee have built their relationship. And it ties down to the question which Juma asked 10 minutes ago: how regularly should you be communicating with your mentor? So I think the first thing from my experience, having been a mentee to a lot of people, from my experience, I try not to be bombarding people with so many messages, because I know life is not static. We are growing every day and there are challenges and obstacles coming our way. So I don't want to raise the expectation of my mentee of me so high that if I keep on messaging them every day, and then I actually get stuck on the way, and I'm not actually working on something that they're expecting me to have worked on, and then I'm not able to show results, and then they feel that way to look down on me, you know? So like, in terms of communicating with your mentor, it's something that you have to discuss with your mentor. Excuse me, ma'am, excuse me, sir. How do you think we should be communicating? How would you appreciate our communication strategy? Like, when are you available for us to be having calls? Is it once a week? Is it every fortnight? Is it once a month? If it's once a month, do you have any specific areas or specific tasks that you think I should be working on? You know, something like that. But always make sure that your communication is professional, and stick to being professional, and try not to cross certain lines and limitations that the mentor sets. That is something that you should actually take into consideration.
Amazing. Some of the things you highlighted, like means of communication, time commitment, those are things that are mostly recommended during your first meeting, or during the first meeting between the mentor and mentee, wherein they decide how they want to be communicating, the days, or is it bi-weekly, is it every 3 months, and then they stick to the time. They only like communicate or have intense communications in case something very urgent comes up where you need the input of the mentor or the mentee. Yeah, those are amazing things. So now, WMI, the Global Advisory Board, Mr. Alpha, we wanting to start like a mentorship program, considering the huge resource available to us. We have a lot of people who are experts in their field. We have a lot of people doing amazing things. So as a community, how are we going to tap into those resources within our midst? How are we going to utilize, for example, you leading a project within the biggest council in Sierra Leone, how are we going to utilize the expertise of someone like Sujan, within the agricultural space, how we're going to utilize the expertise of Melissa, Juma, etc., within the community. We have a lot of people who are also within that sector, but then they are really struggling on how to navigate through them. And then considering the fact that some have gone through those processes and now they are climbing heights, they go in places, how are we going to make sure like they bring others with them along that way? So as a community, as a board, we're planning to see how we can roll out a mentorship program where people can identify people within the community whom like they feel like have one or two skills that they can transfer to them. If you've identified a particular skill that somebody else within the community can offer, you can reach out, then the conversation will go from there. It can be 6 months, it can be 1 year, but then officially 6 months or 1 year, but then we'll leave it to the mentor and mentee to see how best they can continue the relationship outside of those formalities. So considering the fact that you've been on the two end of the coin, you've been mentored, you've also been a mentee to a lot of people. What advice can you give us and as a board on how to approach this whole thing, considering the fact that the WMI community is one of the most innovative scholarship foundations around, considering the kind of bright minds people we have in our midst? That's one. Okay, we'll start with that one, then I'll come to the second question. So what tips or what advice will you give us on how to handle this whole mentorship program that we want to roll out?
First of all, I would like to say thank you so much to the entire WMI family. Thank you to Papa Tom Wells and team, Nicole, Lisa Johnson, and everybody doing this amazing work to let WMI serve the world through its scholars and different projects. The first advice I would give, the first tip is let us build sustainably and in the right way. Building sustainably and in the right way means our mentorship program has to be informed by research and a proper realization of the untapped potentials within the WMI family. So I see a couple of people on the call. I see Juma, who has also been into leadership and a couple of other projects. I see Anne-Marie, who has been in the finance world for a long time. I see John, I know Johnson, who has been in the M&E field for a long time. I see Lisa, I know Lisa, who has been in the education space for a long time. So we have a pool of experts within the WMI family. It might be beyond scholars. We have friends of WMI. So I think we have to build systematically and with structures. What do I mean by that? It means we need to have peer mentors, and then we need to have high-level mentors. High-level mentors in the sense, let's say, for example, if a WMI scholar gets enrolled into the mentorship program, you have a peer mentor who has been in the WMI program for before you, who has also been mentored, and they are working on similar projects as you are, or they have worked on improving a particular skill as you are seeking to improve or develop. Somebody like that could be a peer mentor. And then you have one experienced somebody who has been in the field of mentorship for some time and has built a brand. That person could be like a high-level mentor. So if you're having a peer mentor and then you're having a high-level mentor, like it helps to build that kind of systemic and sustainable flow of development within you and in your brand. Because most often, with a peer mentor, you are able to relate with the realities of life and some of the challenges that we face in our youthful ages. And with somebody who has built a brand, somebody who is way above there, like it's not everything that you can actually be able to connect with at the same level. But on a professional level, they would actually be able to groom you and drill you to go through the process so that you are able to get to a particular height with the right disciplinary diet and consistency that you need.
Amazing. So a question that I think we want to know is, or another tip is, considering the different mentorship programs you've been through, one of the main reasons why a mentorship community will become boring is like when only when mentees and mentors have been paired up, they are being let on their own. Yeah. So as a community or as a board, how do you think we can have like some side programs on the sideline where maybe we can have like an open day when all the mentors come together, the mentees come together, we put them utilizing on Zoom, for example, put them in a different room, people discuss. There is also tendency for other people to learn something new from different mentors. So do you have any programs that has proven successful in the other mentorship program that you've gone through that you think we can also roll out within WMI as part of our mentorship program that will make it very much engaging and interesting?
In Sierra Leone, I can't point out something that much, but personally, for my personal project, I've been doing some research, and one of the best practices I discovered, which I'm also learning from to start something like that in Sierra Leone, is from Steve Harvey. You know, Steve Harvey is my guy. He's one of the people I consider as a role model, because we have similar stories as school dropouts. So he has what he calls Mentorship Mondays. So Mentorship Mondays, he runs it with teenagers in the US and different parts of the world that were abandoned by their fathers. So he would bring a successful teenager, a successful father who was abandoned by his own father, but he decided to step up to say, I am going to lead my own family and not take the light of my father. So these people will come together on the Zoom call and discuss with this person. And if not for COVID, they would have actually been meeting in person, state to state. They would say, this month we're going to this state, this month we're going to that state. So maybe WMI could research on that and see how we could develop our own program from that. We could have maybe mentorship Tuesdays, mentorship Wednesdays, Fridays or Saturdays or Sundays, whatever it could be. It could be 45 minutes or 1 hour conversations for us to know actually what is going on in the mentorship community. That could happen from different surveys that we would be rolling out as an institution, WMI. So you know what are some of the highs and the lows in the mentorship program, and what are some of the challenges that the mentees are going through. So if you come up with one, if you see that 10 mentees have the same problem, and maybe you tweak it in a way that it does not demoralize them, but it seems like some way where they can actually ooze out all the challenges and actually feel refreshed, by having a community that resonates with them and the challenges that they're going through, it would help a lot. And I think another thing we could add to the mentorship program is career development. So how WMI can structure its system so that mentors coming on board will know that they have guidelines that they have to go through, how they run their relationships with the mentees. And then mentees also know that there's laid down rules and expectations. And then out of these evolving relationships in the mentorship program, we know the different goals or the different projects that mentees are working on. And then we see how we could be bringing in career development aspect into the mentorship to actually help the mentees get to where they want to go in their respective career paths.
I like the part that you highlighted, like the career development aspect. So some few weeks ago, I was reading about MasterCard. Yeah, you know, whoever goes through MasterCard, yeah, MasterCard establish like a very strong relationship with that particular institution that you're attending, in making sure you get top-notch opportunities. You know, they connect you with areas of your interest, etc. And that's something that we are really lacking. So that's a wonderful thought that you've brought on board on how WMI as an institution can start thinking of how to formulate like a very strong relationship between the career development department within our different institutions, and making sure like their students get opportunities. You know, their students are encouraged to attend events, etc. So that's an amazing thought. We have one question here that I think is very much interesting. um, you spoke about like you have role models, you have mentors, etc. So Patrick is asking, how do you go about like differentiating or drawing a line between like those who are your role models and those who are your mentors? Because there are times when you have amazing role models, but then you also look up to them in particular areas within their life that you think, okay, you may not be having direct contact with them, but then they are mentoring you on how to handle this. For example, like me, Jeremiah, I look up to Cristiano Ronaldo on my physical health. You know, I may have never spoken to him, but then I see him as a mentor and a role model on how I can go about handling my physical health. Sorry. So now, how do you go about as Alpha doing that line and saying, okay, in these baskets, the people are in these baskets are my mentors, and the people are in these baskets are my role models? Or do you have a basket where both of them can fit in, or do you differentiate them totally?
Okay. I'm a fan of ancient mythical stories. So the word mentor comes from Greece, from Greek mythology. The king of Ithaca, Odysseus, was traveling to go to the Battle of Troy, and he left his son Telemachus in care of somebody who was called Mentor. So he entrusted his son, the heir of his kingdom, into the hands of somebody to say, look after my son, train him, teach him every knowledge you have, so that when he grows up, he'll be the leader that will lead his people if I don't return. And even if I return, he'll be my successor. So do you see where the word originated from? Mentor. So a mentor is somebody that actually has a kind of connection with you. A mentor connects with you. It could be in person, it could be virtually, but they connect with you, they resonate with you. A role model comes from admiration. A role model can transition to a mentor. After admiring that person, you've been doing things, and then you actually contact them, or they discover you, they know about you. Hey, I've been following what you're doing. It's so amazing. I've learned this from you, this and that, and then you actually start bonding. That person has to be able to resonate with you, to know who you are, your story, how they have impacted you, or how they can impact you. And then that kind of relationship has to exist between a mentor and a mentee. That is why they say mentor-mentee relationship. Role model and how can, like, I don't have the term to call the person who is on the receiving end getting something from a role model. But you see a mentor and a mentee. And then a role model, I would say a role model and an admirer of the role model. So there's a virtual like gap there that you don't actually see, but you see and you commit to it to say, I want to be like this person. You understand? So a mentor, in differentiating that, a mentor is somebody who you do not only admire, but you admire them, you learn from them, and you actually have that kind of relationship with them wherein they resonate with your story and they are able to proffer advice, encouragement, support, and solution to some of the challenges that you're going through, so that you can grow. You can grow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I totally agree with you, what you just said.
I see a question from
Yeah, we come into that question.
Way back. When establishing a relationship with a mentor, do you straight away ask them to be your mentor, or you make them to be one? I would say it's better to communicate that to the person you have identified based on what you admire from them or what you think they can offer. But don't just assume that somebody can be a mentor to you directly. I've reached out to a couple of people and they told me point blank, I am so overwhelmed right now. I am sorry, I will not be able to serve in that capacity. But should anything change in my on the way, I would let you know, and please keep me updated about your progress. So don't assume for people that the moment you know somebody and start saying this person is my mentorship, is my mentor, and they should start supporting you in that capacity. Reach out to them, ask them. It is better to ask always. Yes, Jeremiah.
That's amazing. We had a question on the basis of matching, and I just want to share some light on this one. So, for me as Jeremiah, when I'm approaching someone to be mentored by that particular person, I do my own research in understanding like the track record of that person. Where have they worked? What have they been doing? Is it connected to my interest and what I want to pursue in life? If it ticks like the boxes that I'm looking out for, then I can reach out. But then in cases wherein somebody's within a different sector and then what I'm looking for, I know they can't offer it, I don't reach out. So the basis of matching is what you want. That's why even for our program, we're asking the mentees, like those who want to be mentees, what do you want? What are you looking out for in a mentor? So in cases wherein you're looking out for A and the alpha is ready to offer Z, we will not match you guys. Then another curious question that I had for you, Alpha. You spoke about how a role model can transition in like to the point where they can become your mentor. Yeah, and I was also wondering in cases where you've engaged with this mentor of yours, you know they've really impacted your life. Yes, it's still a mentorship relationship, but then at some point, they will also tend to be like a role model that you look out, like that you look up to, considering like the impact they've had in your life. So is it free or are we okay to say, okay, this person was my mentor, but now I only don't see them as my mentor. I also see them as a role model whom like I look up to for A, B, C, D, E, F.
Definitely, definitely. Like your relationship with your role model is built on admiration. It's built on admiration and looking at that person's life, their journey, to say, oh, I want to be like that. I want to do this that this person is doing. But your relationship with your mentor goes beyond admiration. And it encompasses support. It could be technical support. It could be emotional support. Maybe you are stressed, you're boiling out, you want, maybe you're going through mental health issues, depression, trauma. And then your mentor reached out, hey, we were supposed to have a meeting. You were supposed to update me about this. I don't know. Is everything all right? I've not heard from you for a long time, this and this and that. A role model does not just come and ask you like that if there hasn't been any existing relationship like that. Just like how you were saying, Jeremiah, Cristiano Ronaldo, you like look up to him when you want to be physically fit, you know? Yeah, so something like that.
Thank you so much. So guys, we have about 5 more minutes remaining. In case you have any burning question, drop it. If you want
I have a closing advice. So after their questions, I'll just give them.
Yeah, sure. So in case you want to unmute yourself, please do. You can ask your question live. We are here to see how we can go about this whole mentor-mentee. I don't know how to call it, but then at times it gets so confusing wherein mentors get discouraged at some point. I've had mentors wherein I asked them for A. Yes, they were partly providing A, but then at some point I realized, okay, their strength is in O. So I have to like see how I can restructure if I really need O, and see how I can learn from them along the way. So in case anybody do have a burning question, please ask us before our wonderful speaker. Somebody's asking, Victor, welcome. How do I balance my daily work, example, study plus community service plus others, with a mentorship relationship? I think Alpha, you spoke about how um, as a mentor and mentee, you have to decide like, okay, when do we have to meet, how many hours, etc. So based on that, you'll be able to program like your daily routine. If, for example, my mentor and I are meeting, we are meeting every Friday, 6 o'clock, I know I have a schedule for 6, so I'll not go to the field to play football. Yeah. So I don't know if I'm answering based on you, the expert, what you want to say. And then
Yeah, you're right. You're right. You're right.
this is another space again. I know you read a lot, Alpha. So do you have any books that you can recommend in cases where people want to build upon their mentorship skill? Because even those of us who are mentoring others, we also have other things we are struggling with, personally. And at times, like, we read books, we read articles, we do research. So Victor is wondering if you have like any book that you can recommend to this community that we can go through and see how we can build upon our skill in becoming better mentors and as well as better mentees.
Yeah, in that regard, Victor Lee, books to read. So in terms of balancing your daily work and all the things you are engaged in, I would say my topmost recommendation would be 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. That's my topmost recommendation. And if you want to be a mentor, a book that I can recommend highly is The Coaching Habit. The title is The Coaching Habit: Say Less, Ask More, and Change the Way You Lead Forever. And another author I would recommend you also follow to watch some of his videos and read some of his books, who speaks highly on leadership, leading self and leading people, is John C. Maxwell. So I would highly recommend you look out for his books on leadership, personal leadership, and leading others. And Patrick is asking, how long does it take for someone to be fully mentored? There's no specific time, Patrick. There's no monopoly over knowledge. And one advice that I'll give to you and others is never let your schooling come in the way of your education. Your education is a continuous process. From the moment you learned how to open your mouth when you're a baby to get breastfed, to the day you would breathe out your last breath, it's a learning process. That's your education, your educational journey. Yeah, schooling can end at any time. Yeah. One last thing I'll touch on. Somebody asked me once, should I ask my mentor for money? Yeah, so that's a very critical topic, guys. In as much as I would say no, don't, even if that person is not your mentor, don't go about begging people like that. What I always do personally, if I am asking anybody for money, I let the person know what I can offer to them. Like I let them know my skills, what I'm able to offer, so that even if they can ask me anything at that point in time, when they need something, they will come back to me and say, hey, you said you know how to do this XYZ. Can you do this for me? Then I know that we are even. But I don't go about just asking. So please be very careful when you are in a mentor-mentee relationship, how you ask your mentors for money. They are not your bank, and you are not somebody else's bank. So build that relationship. My last advice to you, I got it from a tape I was listening to this morning, and I said, let me share with you. It reads, stop downgrading your dream to fit your reality, and start upgrading your conviction to match your destiny, your conviction, what you believe about yourself, the faith you have of a better tomorrow, the hope that you have in your strengths and abilities that you can actually get to the top. Upgrade them every day so that you say those words of affirmation so that they will actually match your destiny. Please, 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 don't look low upon yourself and don't look down upon yourself. So it's been a pleasure sharing my experience with you and answering to some of your amazing questions. Thank you and God bless you all. I remain humble. I am Alpha Habib Bangura from Sierra Leone, a WMI graduate scholar.
Thank you so much, Alpha. A last tip, considering the fact that Alpha says, if you're going to ask for anything, it has to be even. So based on my experience, people who know how to make cards can make card and say, okay, I'm doing this card. I know this card is only worth like $2, but then you giving a donation to support a particular cause. It can be
exactly. Why did you bring up cards?
You can maybe cook a food and say, I know this food is not worth this price, but then you're donating for a cause. I want to give something for like the donations you'll be making. So we have to be innovative when you have a mentor, how you go about like requesting for things. Be innovative, you know. Let them also feel like they are not giving you money to go to a nightclub. They are not giving you money to go to the bar and drink some alcohol, but then they are giving you money that will help you in your professional and personal development. So guys, thank you so much for making time for today's presentation. In case you have any questions, you can reach us. Alpha is very active on Facebook.
And LinkedIn.
LinkedIn is also on all the...
For those who don't have a mentor, when you find a mentor, please comment on the WMI Facebook page. I found a mentor. I now have a mentor, and keep updating us about your progress.
Yeah, in cases where you also want us to help you in identifying a mentor, we are always available. You can reach us on LinkedIn. Our numbers are also in the different WhatsApp groups. We look forward to continue this conversation, and we are very excited to see how all of you guys can join the WMI mentorship program. Thank you all. Wishing you a blessed and a wonderful weekend. Mohao. Thank you. Thank you. Bye-bye.
That's my personal email.